Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I don't know how you wish to proceed, but the mayor hasn't joined the meeting as yet.
It is now 4 p.m. And until we vote on another pro tem, I am still pro tem. So I would say go ahead and convene the meeting.
Okay, now proceed with the roll call.
Present.
The Honorable Captain F. Rao, District 1.
Present.
The Honorable Carmelita Gums, District 2.
Present.
The Honorable Helen Z. Willis, District 3.
Present.
The Honorable J.C. Sebastian, District 4.
Present.
The Honorable Corey A. Reeves, District 5.
Present.
The Honorable Natasha Williams, District 6.
Present.
And the Honorable Mark Baker, District 7.
Present.
And I believe our mayor has joined, the Honorable Khalid Kamani.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Fast, yes, thank you. Right, before we, first, my apologies for being a few seconds. Just had a issue here at Camelot. Before we begin, I would like to ask for a moment for Mayor Pro Tem Willis, if you would mute your microphone. I would ask for a moment of silence for Miss Pamela Freeman, who was laid to rest today, the wife Sheriff Freeman. So before we begin, if we could just bow our heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Chaplain?
Yes. Let us pray. Dear God, as we have paused for the Freeman family, we also pause for all the others, oh God, who are suffering due to this Omicron plague that is on our land, still taking away our loved ones. But, oh God, in the midst of this moment of sadness and darkness, there is still hope. For we look up to our leadership, oh God, for hope. Hope that would help keep us safe. Hope that would help keep our city moving forward and vibrant. Hope that would allow us to know that there is a brighter day and a better day ahead. So God, as we look up to our leadership in our city, we ask that you continue to empower them and crown upon them your wisdom and knowledge, so that all that is said and all that is done, oh God, will be done according to your will and not their will. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So we give you the praise and the honor and the glory for all things that will be said and done. Let us all say amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain. Mr. Clerk, would you sound the next item?
The next item is adoption of the council agenda.
I will entertain a motion. All right, is my sound a little better now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, this is Councilman Sebastian. And I apologize if this is not the correct timing. At what point can I choose to take something off of the consent agenda?
I'll entertain those things now.
Okay.
We don't yet have a second, and I should have asked for that. So if there's a second,
I would like to add something to the agenda.
okay, wait 1 second.
We need a second first.
Second.
Okay. All right. Now we are in discussion. I will
Thank
start
you.
with Councilman Sebastian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, everyone. It's the first time I'm speaking. I wanted to, there are a couple of items on the agenda that I wanted to put into the main agenda for a little bit of a discussion, hopefully not too much. Agenda item number 14. And also, I wanted to get some additional information on agenda item 10.
So we want item 10 and 14 to the agenda. All right. And Councilwoman Willis.
Yes, I will be moving to add 2 items to the agenda. They both have gone through the legislative process and completed the legislative process, but they were left off. So I'm adding the police oath on the agenda for the first read. And I'm also adding the police hire and the retention bonuses on the agenda.
All right, so let's deal with the consent agenda items first, and then I'm gonna ask for those to be dealt with separately. Can we just have a vote now on the removing items? Is it 14 and
Item 10.
of the consent agenda to the regular agenda?
Yes, and Mr. Mayor, I also have some board appointments that I need to read into the record that I received after the printing of the agenda. So whenever you would like me to read those, I can handle that as well.
Okay, so first, let's start with the consent agenda items. I will you've made a motion to add those items. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, and I will call for the vote for adding those items to the.
There's a motion to remove items 10 and 14 from the consent agenda to the regular agenda for discussion. I have a motion by Councilmember Sebastian, seconded by Councilmember Rao. Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian. Councilmember Reeves.
Nay.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
And Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
All right, and let's go with you, Mr. Adams, the items that you need to add to the record.
Yes, I have the first appointment, board appointment to be placed on the consent agenda is the appointment of Miss Veronica Richardson to the ethics panel. This is an appointment by Chief Judge Michael Sheridan as per the selection resolution. I also have the following District 2 appointments. Mr. Sam Bowen to be reappointed to the Board of Code Enforcement. Mr. Eric Johnson, Esquire, appointed to the Board of Ethics, the Ethics Panel. Antoinette Edwards, appointed to the Environmental Committee. Ms. Sybil Talley, appointed to the Historic and Cultural Landmarks Commission. Mrs. Wanda Edipo, reappointed to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Keith Perry, appointed to the Planning Commission. Ashley Ruffin Darmola, appointed to the Public Arts Commission. Sonia Patterson, appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Brenda Pope, appointed to the Public Buildings Naming and Renaming Committee. and Correll Driscoll appointed to the Street Renaming Committee. These are all appointments of Councilmember Carmelita Gumbs.
All right, and just do we need to take a vote to have them added to the record? Or is it okay to just have them added?
Move that we add the appointments to the agenda. Second.
Right. And roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
and Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Those appointments were approved to be added to the agenda.
All right, we're going to hear from Councilman Willis, Mayor Pro Tem Willis, next. However, before that, is Judge Sheridan on the line, and do we have his oath to be administered today?
Yes, he is on the line, and we do have his oath.
All right, if you would just email that over to me. And now, Council Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
I don't have anything to say. I mean, I just requested those items to be added to the agenda.
All right,
And we now should vote.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there discussion? All right, I have discussion. First, I would like to hear from the city manager who helped me put together this agenda. Was there any reason that either the oath or the incentives were not included in this agenda?
Mayor, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Tammy Sadler Jones. I'm not sure about the oath, but particularly we had the incentives on, but when we met last Thursday, you had requested that the incentives be put on the February City Council agenda for consideration.
Absolutely, and I will speak to that. Was the oath just an oversight? Do you have any objection to that going on this agenda?
I do not.
Okay. And then is Miss Graham available?
I'm not sure if she's on. I don't think he had anything on, and she was working on some other projects for me, so
Okay.
on this evening.
One of my concerns in speaking with Ms. Graham is that that we just paid out hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime. And I thought that we needed to have a comprehensive discussion about that, as well as the other HR policy recommendations that she had. Apparently one of the recommendations that she's making would have been a fix to not have us in this place around overtime, but we did just pay out a lot of money for overtime. There is a set of HR policy suggestions, overtime being amongst them, that she has suggested. We also were discussing benefits for non-emergency personnel, and so just so the council understands, it was and is still my recommendation that we talk about all of those HR benefits together, and that we make sure that they are all fiscally aligned with the budget that we have now, or the budget that we are building as we head into our mid-year budget adjustment. I will be very hesitant to sign, and I just know no other way to say this. I will be very hesitant to sign benefits or to sign into law a set of benefits without having a discussion with the manager and our finance director about how these new benefits comport with all of the other things that we are paying out and considering. that, if there's no other discussion, is there any other discussion? Could you help me with the queue, Mr. Adams?
Yeah, we have two hands raised, Councilmember Rao and Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
All right, Councilwoman Rao.
Thank you. I saw where earlier today, or well, it might not. I saw we received the email regarding monies being available due to cost savings from not hiring positions in the police department. And so I think the concern you raised is addressing that memo that went to the entire council. Because that would have been my making sure we had the revenue for it. So I just wanted to share that.
All right. And Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yeah, so as policymakers, it is our due diligence. You know, we should do due diligence to make sure that all of your concerns that you have just stated are addressed. We should always make sure that we have money in the budget for things. We should always also trust our subject matter experts. In this case, is the police chief and also the finance director. And it's my understanding that all of these concerns that you raise has nothing to do with salary savings, where this money will be coming from for this retention and signing bonus. Let me break it down even more. We budgeted a certain amount of positions, and here we are in February. So between October and February, we have 6 months of salary savings because we have not filled certain positions. Now, Chief Meadows understands that he will not be coming back to ask for more positions because he has used salary savings to fund the retention and hiring bonuses. He understands that. If you would like for him to speak, which is what I would like for him to do, he's responsible. He's a division commander. He's responsible for managing the budget. And he told us in his very thorough presentation at the work session that this money will be coming from his salary savings. I followed up with him. He said the money was going to be coming from the salary savings. I had a discussion with the city manager. I had a discussion with the assistant city manager. So there's no reason for us to hold this. So at this time, Mayor, I would like for Chief Meadows to speak to how this is going to be funded since it was missed at the since people didn't understand it when he gave his thorough presentation at the last work session, if you don't mind.
I actually do mind. We have a tight agenda. We have heard the presentation. I understand that there are salary savings. My concern was not just about the salary savings. My concern is that we have comprehensive discussions about benefits and rules for all of our employees at the same time. I am trying to have I will have thematic meetings where we discuss all of the policies and benefits for employees at one time.
I appeal your decision not to allow the chief to speak, Mayor.
Ms. Sadler-Jones, thank you, duly noted. Ms. Sadler-Jones.
No, that's not the way it works. If I get a second, we have to vote on that. Well, I appeal your decision not to allow the chief to speak on salary savings.
Is there a second?
Second.
We will roll call the vote.
This is a motion to appeal the ruling of the chair. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Willis, seconded by Councilmember Williams. Roll call. Councilmember Rao.
Clarification. So we're saying he's speaking, or are we voting on the previous question?
You're voting to speak.
Yeah, he can speak, yeah.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian. Councilmember Sebastian.
He's on mute.
Yes, my apologies.
Thank you. Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams? Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
The appeal of the chair is approved, 7-0.
Thank you all so much. Yes, what's happening in the industry right now is that many police departments throughout the metro area, they're offering these hiring and signing bonuses to not only attract but to keep their personnel. And it's extremely important that if we're going to continue to grow our workforce, that we do this and we do it, post haste. I mean, we don't want to get into a space where we're starting to lose our personnel to other organizations because we can't keep up. I mean, we have some organizations. Memphis, Tennessee, right now is trying to lure Georgia police officers up there for a $15,000 signing bonus. The Fulton County Sheriff is offering $9,000 right now. And so, if we're going to stay competitive in this space, it's extremely important that we continue to move in the right direction and make sure that we stay a lockstep with our competition for these much needed resources.
Mayor, I still have the floor. Chief Meadows, could you please explain in detail how these how this action item is going to be funded?
So it will be funded from our salary savings. As you all stated earlier, we have some unfunded positions. And when the mayor was talking earlier about the overtime issue, when we inherited Fulton Industrial, it was kind of understood that in order for us to man it and man it appropriately, that we would have to incur those expenses. But even with those expenses, we're still well below our salary allocation for the year. And so this still puts us, even after these funds are allocated, puts us significantly below what our salary allocations are for the year. So it won't impact the budget at all.
Thank you. I yield, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to be first. I'm going to call on Ms. Sadler-Jones. We were supposed to have this discussion along with the HR policy recommendations that were originally sent over 6 weeks ago. So they are also past the deadline for the legislative process. But you asked for me to hold those items. Is that correct? And could you please just explain why?
Yes, sir. So Ms. Graham presented to you all in December proposed revisions to the personnel policies. After that meeting, we, of course, myself, the city attorney, and Ms. Graham and her staff, we needed to get together because there were specific questions that were asked from the elected officials, and also some concerns that I guess were communicated through the elected officials from staff regarding those proposed revisions. Me and the team are actually meeting this week to go over those. And what I want to do is to be able to come back with revisions that, first of all, I'm comfortable with, because those were drafts. I mean, we knew that we need to make some additional changes to those. However, we need to make sure that we're discussing those revisions with the attorney's office. We don't want to be in violation of any laws or anything. And we want to make sure that the three of us are all on the same page and bring back those revisions to the council. And I had asked you not to put it on this agenda because I know you wanted to put it on, but I said, let's hold on those and let us bring it back in February when we've all had a chance to meet about it.
Thank you. And so in that discussion, the reason that I took off the bonuses is because I thought that we should discuss all of these things together. I do see that Ms. Graham, our HR director, is on the line. So I would like to ask some questions of Ms. Graham. Ms. Graham, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mayor.
It is my understanding that we are currently not a drug-free workplace and that we do not have a no tolerance policy around that, and that might be affecting our insurance rates. Is that true, or could you speak to that briefly?
Okay, so we are not certified with the state of Georgia as being recognized as a drug-free workplace. However, our practices do conduct drug-free drug screens in accidents and pre-employment and et cetera. When we become a certified drug-free workplace with the state of Georgia, there are certain requirements that we have to write within our policy and make sure we are abiding by in our practices in order to receive a discount on our workers' comp insurance. And that discount would total about $56,000 or about $56,000 around there in total discounts that we could receive.
And
Point of order, Mayor. Point of order.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
This is not germane to what's the action that's on the floor. The action on the floor is to add to the agenda the bonus and retention policy and the police oath. The policies regarding other HR actions has nothing to do with this.
Okay. Let me help you. Let me explain it to you. We can put it on the agenda. You can override my desire to have this as a comprehensive discussion. I will veto it tomorrow. And then it will appear on the February agenda. So I just wanted to explain why I will be vetoing pay raises. If we have not qualified as a drug-free workplace, that would give us $56,000 in reductions to also pay for the things that we're doing. If we have not, the second question that I was going to ask you, Ms. Graham, is that we currently have no probationary policy for our employees. Is that also correct?
Not for unclassified positions.
Point of order, Mayor. Again, this is a police-related matter. This has nothing to do with the police bonuses on the order. You have every right to veto, but this has nothing to do with everything.
Right. So I just want to explain my rationale, because I have heard from you and some other council members that I do not explain my rationale enough. So in this public meeting, I want to be clear that I want to have a comprehensive and thematic discussion about HR policies and benefits for all city employees. That is currently scheduled for February. So if you would like to have this item added to the agenda, and if you would like to spend more time than we already have discussing these matters, just know it will be for naught, because I will veto this, and then we will have the discussion again in February. So I am appealing to the council not to add this item so that we do not have to waste time discussing it twice, because I do feel, as the chair and the maker of the agenda, that we should discuss all of these things together. And as the person in this seat with the power to ensure that happens, I am asking you all to consider voting no so that we do not have to have this discussion twice. And with that, if there are no other comments, I will entertain a vote to add these two items to the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I actually have my hand raised.
Yeah, we have Dr. Baker, Councilmember Sebastian, and Councilmember Rao.
All right, so we will start with Mr. Sebastian.
Mr. Mayor, Dr. Baker had his hands raised before me, so I'll just defer to him until he's done. So that's okay.
Dr. Baker.
Thank you for recognizing me, and I'll be really, really brief. I just had one quick question for the chief. I just wanted to know, like, if, he felt that we needed to vote on this today as opposed to February, as well as if he thought that we would be in danger of losing employees
for, you know, lack of taking action today, or what was, like, is there a real reason? Like, I voted for him to be allowed to speak only because I wanted to know, you know, if the city would be in some type of detriment or something.
Councilman, the practice is already established in the area. I mean, every department, every major department, smaller departments in the area, they're already doing just that. I hear what the mayor is saying, but we're actually in a position right now to where we have to respond to what the market is suggesting we should. I would have hoped that this would not have become, you know, a political issue. It's been my experience when you politicize the police department, and it ends badly.
I just wanted to know, like, if you thought we would lose somebody, like, within the next month. It seems like we're all in favor of it, and I just don't want us to belabor a process if you think it's okay to wait until the next time we reconvene.
Councilman, there's always that danger of somebody coming in and offering our employees something that we're not offering right now. That's one of the reasons we try to stay ahead of the competition.
Dr. Rao?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, that was my turn. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let Mr. Councilman.
Thank you, Dr. Victor. I was actually going to ask that very question too. And I want to say also that I do agree with the mayor in terms of taking a comprehensive look at those plans for employees. But I'm sensitive to the fact that, and I've seen some of the data of what some of the other departments around are offering, right? And I feel like every day that is passed, if we go through this and we don't take action sooner rather than later, this is going to be another 2 months before we actually, you know, are able to pass this. So while I agree wholeheartedly with taking a comprehensive look at some of these issues with regards to all of our employees, you know, I feel as if the police department, especially given the cost to hire and recruit an officer, to put an officer on the street, I think that costs us about $100,000, I believe. Then I would say that I would support passing this one sooner rather than later.
Thank you. And just note, the speaker's queue is open. I only see Dr. Rao in the queue. I'm going to go to, but I do see these hands. So, Dr. Rao.
Thank you, Mayor. For some of the same reasons that Councilman Sebastian said, we know we are in a unique time as it relates to law enforcement. I think our presentation that we heard last month really spoke to the super competitive market we're in and the amount of money we spend and invest in these police officers, and we don't want to lose that. I too think that we do need to do a deeper dive. In fact, I did submit my comments and feedback from the last presentation, and I'm looking forward to hearing us or having a discussion as we dive deeper. So I do hope, you know, whether it's the retreat or another work session, that we dive deep. But I don't think with law enforcement in particular that we should hold that. And so I hope it's not an all or nothing. I think we can do both and be thoughtful about both. So that's just my comments.
All right. And Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing me. I'm just going to state this, is that over this past weekend, we had a Cities United Summit at GMA, and one of the topics was their public safety. And one of the things that is across the board is community municipalities are losing officers due to competitive rates and things that they're offering officers outside of what they're normally getting. And they're losing them at a rapid rate. And this is across the nation, particularly across the cities across the state of Georgia. And so the one reason why I would agree with this today is because of it is being escalated, and we do risk losing officers within the next week or two due to competitive compensation that they can receive in other municipalities. And I just want to make that known. And that's factual data. And you can receive that from GMA on the statistics that they do have. Thank you, sir.
All right, and City Manager Jones?
Mayor, I took my hand down, but I just wanted to, let you all know that I support these initiatives for our public safety personnel, police and fire. And, I just want to make sure that we don't pull other staff into conversations that are strictly political. So, please be careful of that when we are asking comments or questions of our staff. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I do want to reiterate, this is for me, this is not about politics. This is about decency and order. We are going to have a discussion about HR salary and benefits across the city in February. We are going to have a discussion about planning and zoning and subdivision regulations across the city in March. We are going to have focused meetings. And so with that being said, I will entertain them. If there are no other hands, I see no other hands, no other speakers in the queue. I will call for the vote to add these items to the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I will just reiterate the items just to perfect the record. The item I had for the police hiring and retention bonus is request council approval of a hiring bonus for post-certified police to receive $3,000 after 90 days employed with a commitment signed agreement to stay with the city for 36 months. Mayor Pro Tem Willis, just wanted to make sure that that's correct.
That is correct. And the police oath, it will just be added to the agenda for the first read.
Okay, and I would like to read into the record the title for that ordinance for first read. An ordinance to amend Title 4, Law Enforcement, Chapter 1, in general, of the Code of Ordinances, City of South Fulton, Georgia, to add Section 4-1004, authorization for the Chief of Police to administer oath of office for sworn police officers and for other lawful purposes. And this is sponsored by Council Members Willis, Gumbs, Sebastian, and Williams. And you have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Willis, seconded by Councilmember Rao for approval to add these items to the agenda.
All right, please call the vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Sorry.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Abstain. And Mr. Mayor, I abstain because of the volley behind what the city manager is contending and what may or may not happen with the veto. Because I just don't want to belabor a process. I'm tired of, the politics for nothing.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, that was approved 6-0 to 1.
All right, thank you. At this time, we do not have on the agenda the swearing in of the city judge.
Mayor, did you ever put a resolution before the council to approve the appointment of the city judge?
That is on the
Okay, I apologize. That's my oversight. Thank you.
So before we so as we approve this, I want to ask as a matter of process, how should we proceed, Mr. Attorney Hyman?
There should be at this point, since we're still under the adoption of the agenda, a motion to add the swearing in of Chief Judge to this part, and then when he's available, you can swear him in.
All right, I will entertain a motion to add the swearing in of the Chief Judge to this agenda.
I move that we add the swearing in of the Chief Judge to the agenda.
So moved.
All right, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved unanimously.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the council agenda as amended.
I move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Nay.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Nay.
That item is approved 5-2.
Sheridan available.
Yes, he was on the call.
Yes, I'm available.
Oh, there he is. Yes.
All right, Judge Sheridan, do you have a Bible or a book on which you would like to swear present?
I do. I'm prepared. Would like to know, should this be done after the consent agenda? However, just for procedural purposes, Attorney Hyman.
This matter been, the agenda's been approved as part of being the regular agenda.
Okay. All right, Mayor.
All right, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I'm sorry, the camera is on. I see you. Thank you. All right, and if you would just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael Sheridan,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will properly perform the duties of the office of Chief Judge
that I will properly perform the duties of Chief Judge,
the office of Chief Judge,
the office of Chief Judge,
Municipal Court in and for the City of South Fulton,
Municipal Court in the City of South Fulton,
to the best of my knowledge,
to the best of my knowledge,
skill, and ability.
skill, and ability,
That I am not the holder
that I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for public money
of any unaccounted for public money
due to the state of Georgia
due to the state of Georgia
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
of authority thereto.
or authority thereto,
That I am not the holder of any office
that I am not the holder of any office
of trust under the government
of trust under the government
of the United States
of the United States
or any other state
or any other state
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which I am by the laws of Georgia
which I am by the laws of Georgia
prohibited from holding.
prohibited from holding,
That I am qualified to hold the office
that I am qualified to hold the office
which I am about to enter
which I am about to enter
according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia.
according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Georgia.
and the state of Georgia. I apologize, and the state of Georgia,
That I have been a resident of Georgia
that I have been a resident of Georgia
for the time required by the Constitution
for the time required by the Constitution
and laws of the state of Georgia
and laws of the state of Georgia,
and the charter of the City of South Fulton.
and the charter of the City of South Fulton.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations, Judge Sheridan. You have been reappointed. Thank you for your service, and We look forward to not seeing you in municipal court.
Thank you for the reappointment, Mayor and Council.
No problem. All right, I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And roll call vote, please. Adam?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. This is a motion to approve the meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes, work session minutes, zoning public hearing, as well as special call meeting. Roll call, Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Those minutes were approved unanimously.
Please sound the next item.
The next item is rezoning, variance, modification cases for motion and vote. The first case is M21-007 and a companion case, concurrent variance 21-007. Council to consider a modification to allow 144 townhomes instead of the previously approved 114 townhomes to reduce the minimum heated floor area from 2,000 square feet to 1,800 square feet and to revise the traffic conditions. Council to consider a concurrent variance to remove portions of the berm required by the Sandtown Overlay, 0 Campbellton Road. It's located in District 1, and this was deferred at the December 14th council meeting.
All right, I will entertain a motion for this item.
I move that we defer a vote on the two items, the concurrent variance and the zoning modification.
So moved.
Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to defer. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was deferred unanimously.
Madam, Mr. Clerk, are we deferring it to which date? That's the one thing that was kind of vague. It's moved to defer to the next council date or next?
To the next council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. So noted.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is U21-007. This is a request for a special use permit for cosmetology salon suites located at 7580 Springbox Drive. This is located in District 4.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I want to move that we defer this to the next council meeting. I haven't had enough time to talk to staff about this.
So moved.
And roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to defer. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is deferred to the next council meeting.
All right, thank you. And I believe we are now at public comment.
No, sir. You placed it after the consent agenda.
I thought we approved the consent agenda items. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Yes. Next item is consent agenda. This is the approval of the two items that were added. Actually, the board appointments that were added by Councilmember Gums as well as Chief Judge Sheridan. And then item 7, item 8, item 9, item 11, item 12, item 13, and item 15.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Councilmember Rob,
Yes.
Councilmember Guns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Nay.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
It's approved 6-1.
All right, thank you. Sound the next item now, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, now we're at the public comments. We did receive, Mayor and Council, we did receive a total of 36 comment cards. We have 4 people who signed up for live comment. We'd just like to remind the general public, in terms of those making comments, to please state your name, your address, and your district, and remember to keep your comments simple.
I don't know if you all heard that, but we are going to ask that you keep your comments.
Right, thank you. So the first speaker is Keyshawn Davis. Mr. Davis, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Davis, you have 2 minutes. As stated, please state your name, address, and your district.
Yes, sir. My name is Keyshawn Davis. I live at 943 Jordan Way, and that's District 3. Greetings, Mr. Mayor and council members. I want to bring to the attention of the council and the community at large what I would consider to be an example of a wasted opportunity. I have a 16-year-old daughter that just returned to the country after playing an international tennis tournament under the American flag. Support within our community has been scarce, to say the least. South Fulton Tennis Center is an opportunity that's gone severely underappreciated its first reopening around 4 or 5 years ago. This is only compounded by the fact that decisions related to the center are clearly made by individuals without much knowledge regarding opportunities available. For example, we play at facilities that are inferior to South Fulton, which hosts national and international tournaments comprised of anywhere from 128 to 256 participants from all over the country and sometimes outside. For nearly 20 years, these events were actually hosted at South Fulton Tennis Center. These events come with well over 500 to 600 room nights for local hotels and significant income for retail and restaurants in the area. The rooms alone account for over $75,000 in hotel rentals on a 4 or 5 day tournament. I learned at a pro shop at South Fulton Tennis Center, Center Court is being forced to close down by the city. South Fulton Tennis Center is the only minority-run tennis facility in Metro Atlanta with a pro shop. South of I-20 on the 285 corridor, there's not a tennis pro shop or tennis supplier short of traveling to Fayetteville, Peachtree City, or almost Noonan. Center Court provides free equipment to the children in the community, free and half-price services to area high school teams. And I'd like you to know that the tennis at the local schools began in a month, and they're being forced to close down in a matter of weeks. And these are services that cannot be gotten anywhere else. I simply ask the council to consider, why would we have the largest tennis center south of I-20 and north of Macon and not have a pro shop within the center? Why would we not have informed people make decisions about the center? And why would we not focus on making South Fulton the home of black tennis nationally if the opportunity exists? I ask that the city consider delaying booting Center Court out of South Fulton Tennis Center for at least 90 days until the decision makers can truly understand the opportunities and the effects of such a move on the community at large.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. The next speaker, Ms. Brianna McGeehan. Ms. McGeehan, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey there.
Hello, you have 2 minutes. Please state your name.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brianna McGeehan. My address is 4640 Gordon Street, 30213, and I'm in District 7. So to begin, I just want to say that, today's meeting is a pretty big deal. Our city council will make a choice to listen to its constituents and not change the city charter until there is more explanation and public input, or they will decide to go against the will of the people to advance their own personal agendas. I've heard my neighbors, I've listened to the people of the city, and we do not want this. Council, I implore you to listen to the people. If you go against our wishes, this will not be the end of this conversation, it will just be the beginning. I promise you that. The same members of council that worked to pass House Bill 1019 and 921 when Bill Edwards was mayor are now the same people that are trying to remove it, beginning that process days after we elected our new mayor, which was actually extremely strategic. Now the charter that existed when we voted in our mayor should be the charter that our mayor presides over. I fear the council has forgotten their role. The press conference where they attempted to make Mayor Khalid look bad actually violated the Open Meetings Act. We see the moves you are making, council, and we do not support you changing our charter. I want to make that completely clear. I would also like to add that I'm actually really looking forward to the forensic audit. I look forward to our city being run more efficiently. I hope it happens as soon as possible. We are all patiently waiting for that. And lastly, I'm just going to say that, council, you'll do what you will do, but we have people power. We have the ability to organize, and this will not be the end of the discussion if you make the choice to go against our wishes.
Thank you, Ms. McGee. The next speaker, Mr. Drew Demand. Are you on the call? Mr. Drew Demand. I do not see Mr. Demand in the call.
I'm here.
Oh,
Hello?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, you have 2 minutes. Please state your name, address, and district, please.
Yes, sir. This is Drew Demand. I'm in District 7, and my address is 4640 Gordon Street, 30213. And I'm here simply to state my support for the mayor. Just as Ms. McGeehan pointed out, we have been closely observing the moves of council in an attempt to curtail the mayor's powers, which is really puzzling because only recently they went against their founding concept of a weak executive to give more powers to the then mayor, Bill Edwards. And now we see that they're attempting to change the charter to remove those powers, which is just really curious. It's almost as if they're playing politics. I was there at that St. James Live when a lot of people, Councilwoman Gumbs and Councilwoman Willis, stood up and said a lot of nice words about how they were going to get along with Khalid and support Khalid. And all of the actions we have seen make me think that those were nothing more than words. We insist and we implore you to do the right thing and to recognize the will of the people. 60% of voters in all districts voted for Khalid, which means we all support him. So what you're doing right now shows us that you're not interested in working with him. And even just the tone of this meeting so far tells me that there is a lot of games being played right now. And so we want to see that stop. We want to see more professionalism. We want to see this audit come through. If you did nothing wrong, then you have nothing to be afraid of. If you made some mistakes and some missteps, you still have the people behind you for now. But the more uncomfortable you make us by not following our mandate, the less likely we are to show our support for you should you be shown to have done wrongdoing. So now, act.
Mr. Daniel, your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. The next speaker, Mr. Corey Cretell. Mr. Cretell, are you on the call?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name, address, and district, please.
All right. My name is Corey Cretell. My address is 7116 Boulder Pass, South Fulton, Georgia. I've been a homeowner and a business owner in the city of South Fulton since before its inception in 2016. I am the owner of FIT, the fitness center on the corner of Old National. FIT stands for Prioritizing Health and Inspiring Transformation. At FIT, we offer fitness services to include but not limited to general membership access, personal training, meal prep services, and we even have a foundation called FIT Leaders, where we work with kids for free on Saturdays by providing a 45-minute workout and invite a local leader as a guest speaker to talk with the kids about life, experiences, business, positivity, etc. The main goal of my comment today is specifically in reference to economic development. It is important that in today's world, we find a way to promote and protect small business, especially given all the restrictions that have taken place over the past 2 years since our world has been flipped upside down. Over the past 15 months since opening a storefront on Old National, I have attended and participated in several events to include council meetings, merchant associated meetings, campaign debates, and several other events. Over the course of that time, I have witnessed and participated in several discussions in regards to promoting local business and finding different ways in which we can make sure the people in our own backyard are successful. The main point of my comment today is that we not only talk about these things, but we are in fact intentional in how we go about ensuring success for the businesses in our community. My proposal is that it's not as complex as many of these discussions make it out to be, but rather a simple solution in that we actually do business with these owners and find ways to promote the products and or services those businesses provide. Since opening in October of 2020, I have had more officials from the city stopping by to tell me what I can't do with my business, and I've had officials stopping by to ask how they can help promote our business to be successful. Not once did the former mayor stop by to congratulate us on any of our accomplishments. I've had just 2 of the 7 council members in Khalid and Mark Baker stop by to see our business. We've had several events on the corner with a specific emphasis on promoting local business and youth development programs with participation in excess of 300 plus people, to where none of which the mayor nor any of the council members have participated in and or assisted in promoting other than Mayor Khalid and council member Mark Baker.
Mr. Crittel?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, your 2 minutes have expired.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your comment.
All right.
Mr. Mayor and Council, that leaves 22 minutes left for public comment. And I'll begin reading the comments into the record. The next comment is from Daphne Jordan, who lives on Old Fairburn Road in District 3. Her comment is, I support the upcoming charter changes that have been planned since the city was formed. These changes will ensure good government to be administered by the council-led government. We have a strong council, and I trust their ability to lead our city in the right direction. Next is Juliet Rankins, who lives on Grassy Trace in District 4. Her comment is, in reference to Resolution 2022 to amend the employee's calendar to add another week off after the Christmas holiday every Friday from May 1st through August 31st, and the entire week of July 4th, City of South Fulton employees and constituents would be better served by employee training and workshops to address customer service and employee wellness. The mayor stated during the work session that constituents were at his inauguration telling him that they were not able to contact employees in person or by phone. Councilman Sebastian stated that constituents were contacting him immediately after he won, complaining that they were not able to get permits from the city of South Fulton. Business people were commenting in the chat during the work session when the resolution was discussed, stating that they are already not able to get the services they need from the city of South Fulton. Let's make the city of South Fulton work for citizens, business people, and employees, and not make matters worse by closing the city down for an additional 32 days. Next is Grace Battle, who lives on Waterford Trail in District 2. Please do not vote to have the city provide waste management services. This way, current providers can offer competitive pricing and customer service. Those of us who have had the same provider for over a decade, in my case, Reliable, have built relationships with our providers, and we should be able to continue deciding who provides this service for us. It should be a personal decision and not one made by our government. Free market and personal choice should take priority. Next is Connie Branch, who lives on Smoke Ridge Drive in District 7. Her comment is, I'm requesting a follow-up to 2 pressing inquiries made by myself and other citizens. 1, there's an urgent need for a traffic light and lighting at Paseta Road and Jonesboro Road. There are weekly accidents at this location. Sidewalks are needed on Paseta Road between Conley and Creel Road. This was studied back in 2019 and deemed necessary. I have been requesting updates via C-Click-Fix with no responses. Next is Barbara McKee, who lives on Alicante Street in District 6. I asked my councilwoman Williams to support this ordinance and the entire council and mayor to support this ordinance. At times in my neighborhood, if an emergency vehicle needed to get through, it would not be possible. This is my number 1 reason for supporting this ordinance. Thank you and have a blessed day. Next is from Naima Gilliard, who lives on Greenhawk Way in District 4. It has been 57 years since the original voting rights bill passed. The update for it that would protect our educations from voter suppression, partisan sabotage, gerrymandering, and dark money did not pass 5 days ago. It is fundamental to democracy, where people make decisions about representation via voting. The citizens have chosen a new mayor for our city. The elected body and all citizens should respect the will of the people. As Rodney King said years ago, why can't we all get along? Next is Michael Venable, who lives on Montelli Circle in District 6. This is a request to have zoning decisions by council occur immediately after the public hearing. In the previous meeting, new council members tried to make approval or denial motions after the hearing, as is the norm in all municipal jurisdictions. The change to separate meetings for public hearing and voting only creates clutter and confusion to the agendas, prolongs meetings, and compromises efficiency. The delay also serves to perpetuate pertinent data loss, as the case information from all parties is no longer current. Historically, Fulton County and all of its cities have adhered to the legacy process. Returning to the original process will add some normality for the petitioners and the city residents. Next is Connie Robinson, who lives on Palmview Court in District 2. Proposed one source trash provider. This comes from a collaborative group of board of directors and leaders for several city of South Fulton subdivisions and neighborhood communities, representing more than 2,400 citizens. We are writing again to express our discontent with the proposal of a one source trash provider. Far too often, we tune into city council meetings and witness decisions made on incomplete or unsubstantiated data. As it stands, the trash ordinance has already been drafted. We were told community engagement will occur and be considered, but nothing has been scheduled. Then we were told the city is moving forward with one source provider, yet no opportunity for the community to first weigh in. So please hear us now. We the people oppose a one source trash provider. While we are supportive of change, a one source provider for sanitation is not a welcome one. That change will take away the people's right to choose their own service provider, create a monopoly, and eliminate jobs, further impacting unemployment rate, create more hardships for people who are still trying to regain their financial stability due to COVID pandemic, impact the person's quality of life, health, state of mind, general well-being, and that of their families and community. As most of you stood in opposition and concern for the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk's possible resignations, loss of positions, yet is this the same concern for the trash company's employees whose positions are at risk and whose businesses will close? City officials, we urge you to allow the citizens to continue to have multiple trash source provider options. Respectfully submitted, City of South Fulton citywide HOAs and Neighborhood Communities Collaboration Group. Next is Connie Robinson, who lives on Palmview Court in District 2. She said, greetings, Mayor, Council, and city leaders. I ask that the council vote no on the request to increase the townhome count from 114 to 144. How do we know the 144 is a typo? Fulton County approved the 114 homes. The builder's rep stated that sewage lines were put in for 144 homes. Could that possibly have been the error? Next is Deborah Kennedy at Cascade Rise Court in District 1. She states that she is the board member for Cascade Hill Subdivision. As a member of a consortium of HOA board of directors and community leaders representing over 2,000 families in the city of South Fulton, I write today to express our concerns regarding the increasing residential development in our city. It appears to us that homes are being planned and developed and modifications and variances being approved before all of the needed infrastructure has been designed and put in place. For example, the council is preparing to vote on a modification and variance requests for townhomes at Campbellton and Stonewall Tail Roads before all the data has been presented and all requirements implemented for the proposed development. While the developer states that the sewage and water lines were developed to support 144 townhomes, the record shows that only 114 homes were approved by Fulton County. Has the council been provided with supporting documentation that the current sewage and water lines can service 144 townhomes? Next is Joseph Ma, who lives on Fayetteville Road in District 7. I do not support any charter change that will prevent the mayor from completing a forensic audit. I want the city to go through the process of a forensic audit. Additionally, I oppose any attempt by members of the council to reverse HB 1019 and or HB 921. Thank you for all of your service. Next is Paul Brady, who lives on Gordon Street in District 7. I would like to express my support for a forensic audit. I do not support the reversal of bills HB 1019 and 921. Next is a comment from Karen McGeehan, who lives on Elgin Street in District 7. Because we have a new mayor, the rules changed to tie his hands. I do not support the charter change, and I do wholeheartedly support the forensic audit. Why did you not seek public feedback? This is from Loretta, who lives on Manchester Street in District 6. I would like to know the plans for revitalizing District 6, especially Old National Highway, and when will it begin? Another Loretta, who lives on Bird's Eye Trail in District 5. When will Buffington Park subdivision and College Park begin to see our streets or the asphalt paved? Next is Gwen Fortune, who lives on Melanie in District 5. Why do you city council members, especially 1, 2, and 3, feel it necessary to change our charter? Shouldn't the charter the first mayor governed by be the same charter for all mayors going forward? We voted for Mayor Khalid under the present charter because he has the same vision we the people have. Why do you want to change what we the people want for our city that you represent and should want as well? And for new councils, why are you willing to change it? Next is Glenda Collins, who lives on Morning Creek in District 5. Regarding M21-007 and CV-007, if the reduction of the berm would not create a safety issue and this berm was for overlay purposes, I agree. However, with decel lanes to help with the flow of traffic for this development, the additional units will increase the traffic and have a great impact on the area. Please do not increase the number of units. She also states that please go back to the original charter that was signed when the city of South Fulton began 5 years ago. This charter will give the citizens and taxpayers more control over the city and its actions. Resolution 2022-1, I am voting no to pay employees for days off for Kwanzaa. The city of South Fulton needs infrastructure and economical development. The city needs to work more with GDOT. The council hires their legislative specialists who work closely with them and the community. If the council person And if the specialist is in compliance, then the pay and term limit should not factor in this decision, since the specialist is not a decision role. Next is Sheila Louder, who lives in District 5. Congratulations, Mayor Kamau and council members on your election. As a homeowner of 47 years in South Fulton, Corner Ridge subdivision, I've seen the Old National area be an attractive, vibrant, safe area to live to, now being an area where it struggles to be safe and have businesses desiring to be in the area. I recall Camelot as being a place everyone wanted to live. It is my hope under this new administration, the Old National area will again be where everyone wishes to live and top tier businesses want to be. By the creation of this new advocate office, I hope attention to environmental justice and safety will be a top priority, as well as the homelessness issues in the city of South Fulton. It is also my hope that education and improving schools in South Fulton will be a priority. Without school improvements academically and civically, the top tier businesses we desire in the area will not be attracted to the Old National area. I wish the best for this new administration. Next is Harvey Davis, who lives on Versailles in District 1. He states, City of South Fulton elected officials need to heed the U.S. Court of Appeals ruling that officials lack the power under the law to block the social media accounts of constituents who may share their disagreement on sites like Facebook, Instagram, or Nextdoor as examples. Residents' inability to respond to or even see officials' posts may seem to present only a minor burden on speech, but it poses a real First Amendment problem nonetheless, inflicting a potentially unconstitutional burden on protected political speech, and those that do block stakeholders are subject to legal recourse. He also says he would like to reiterate his hearty support for the Charter Amendments ordinance on today's agenda. As many know, tweaking of the charter is a normal activity in the course of refining this living document. Charter changes are not unusual. In each state legislative session, there are quite a number of changes by the state legislature to change charters of municipalities. Our city was created with the ultimate authority of the state legislature, who can refine the charter and ultimately could dissolve the city. State law also allows the city council to change the charter. While there is a defined opportunity for a 5-year charter review, city council need not and does not have to await a lengthy process that is likely well over a year. These particular changes to the nomination process have been well vetted and have been considered for nearly a year, long before any election was a part of the city council's vote for state legislature to make the change and was in the original charter. As is the case, all of the changes supported by the South Fulton legislative delegation and city council did not make it through in time before the session ended, and city council is continuing the process to get the rest implemented. A key revision restores the original charter language of the nomination process for executive leadership roles that report to city council. Next is Marsha Steele, who lives in District 5. Her comment is, I am asking council members to refrain from changing our current charter, specifically the authority and duties of the mayor. If the current charter was good enough for the former mayor, why isn't it good enough for this mayor and or mayor hereafter? If this is going to be common practice to change the duties and of the people we vote into office after they have been sworn in because you don't like who won, the will of the people have spoken and chose our leader. Respect and honor the processes that are in place and let him do his job. Do a better job of listening to the people of this magnificent city of South Fulton. Next is Diane Johnson, who lives on Vernier Drive in District 5. Please vote no to Kwanzaa resolution. We need to concentrate on the upbuilding of the city of South Fulton. Next is Gloria Williams, who lives on Cole Lane in District 2. To the Honorable Mayor Kamau, thank you for making the process easier for citizens to voice their opinions and concerns. One of my concerns is the lack of effective litter control throughout our city. Litter pickup needs to be more frequent. Trash and litter along our streets creates an atmosphere of low value and negative behavior. Trash and litter, this is not the image that is needed to attract better development and positive growth. Litter pickup services need to be increased. I and many of my neighbors want our choice for Mayor Khalid to have the full support of the city council and to have authority granted under the existing charter to do what he was elected to do: strengthen, grow, and improve our city. Next is Leslie Moore, who lives on Camelot Drive in District 5. We are homeowners in Camelot, and I just want to thank Mayor Khalid and his team in commemoration for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Him and his team of volunteers came and knocked on each and every door in the community, spoke to residents, informed us about the city smoke alarm replacement program, and provided us with a brochure with important contact information. They listened to our concerns and shared with us what the mayor intends to do about it. What I really appreciated most was that they had another team out on the grill in 35-degree weather, cooking steak, hot dogs, ribs, chicken, and many different sides to choose from. First, he moves in, then he wants to understand our concerns. Then he arranges for the entire complex to eat a very nicely prepared lunch. I love my mayor. I support his desire to have a forensic audit and implore the powers that be not to change the charter. Next is Michael Williams, who lives on Brockford Lane, District 2. He states,
if you see some plain pole,
City of South Fulton ordinances parking, making sure it's enforced, nighttime especially. Next is Janine Chisholm, who lives on Les Jardins Boulevard in District 4. Regarding U21-007, I literally beg of you, please do not approve this application for yet another hair salon, barbershop, nail salon, especially not this close in proximity to Tapestry at Les Jardins and Giverny at Les Jardins. Single-family homes in Les Jardins are selling for over $600,000 and $700,000 in Tapestry and for over $1 million in Giverny. To maintain the value growth, non-residential areas thereby have to be comparable. Please plan for office space and something other than typical pizza vibe that already proliferates Route 92, the Route 92 corridor. Next is Sharon Stevens, who lives on Derrick Road in District 3. My comment is for the new mayor, Mr. Khalid. When we elected you to lead our city. We elected you to be our leader. While I still have confidence in you, I must say I am disappointed that you stood on the City Hall steps telling us that you were going to get us a forensic audit, but you have not placed it on the agenda. How are we going to support your initiative if you don't put them on the agenda? Give us what you promised us. We want a forensic audit, and we do not want our charter changed. If you are concerned about council voting it down, let them go on record in opposition. Ryle and Willis are on their way out of the seats come next year. They will fall in line. I expect to see the audit on the next agenda. If you keep catering to the council, these ladies will have you shaking hands and kissing babies. Next is Ariela Salika Ransom, who lives in District 4. Can anyone tell us what is being built at the corner of South Fulton Parkway and Campbellton Fairview? It seems as if it has been set up for mixed or multi-use, but what does that actually mean? Does it mean more warehouses? And is this anything South Fulton can do to influence what goes there? Next is Crystal Green, who lives on Bluestone Drive in District 2. This is a general comment regarding public safety. My husband was involved in a hit and run accident on 1227. He was struck on his motorcycle from behind by a pickup truck. He sustained injuries and is still recovering. The accident occurred at the corner of Camp Creek and Fulton Industrial, a major intersection. We learned that the cameras throughout the city do not record and are for monitoring purposes only. I'm not sure whose decision that was and needs to say it needs to change. Mr. Mayor, Council, that completes 30 minutes and we have two comments left.
I'm not sure if I can allow this without counsel, so I'm just going to ask, can we read these last two comments? Does anyone have objections to hearing these last two public comments? All right, hearing none, go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, the next comment is from Cecil Drummond, who lives on Oswego Trail in District 7. What is the status of the maintenance for water detection ponds in the city of South Fulton? I have been trying since 2019 to get the detection pond located behind my home clean. Fulton County tells me that it's the city of South Fulton responsibility, and the city of South Fulton tells me it's still Fulton County responsibility, since we're still in litigation over detection ponds, and I think he means detention ponds. It's hard to believe that we've been a city for nearly 5 years and we have not resolved this issue. Thank you very much for your time and the opportunity to voice my concern. The last comment is from Mr. Richard Snellings, who lives on Loch Lomond Trail in District 1. He states, just another reminder that all of you stood on the stage at St. James Live, bound and worked with the mayor. In fact, Gums locked eyes with the mayor on the stage, acknowledging that she was being recorded, vowed to work with him, and when she gave her best supporting actress worthy performance. A month later, her and the rest of the council is conspiring against the will of the voters because you did not like who we selected as the mayor. The charter clearly says don't touch it, and this council is in such a rush to knowingly violate the charter to have it changed. A fraudulent resolution was created with the intent to mislead and embarrass the citizens, claiming that the mayor violated the charter. It's clear for everyone to see who is violating the charter. Voting to change the charter when you know it is illegal is an ethical issue, and I encourage all residents to hold these council people accountable, even if you have to submit an ethics charge against all of them individually that voted for this illegal change. It's clear they are determined to change the charter to start the process of disregarding the results of the runoff election vote. The majority of the residents do not support this change, but we the people do support a forensic audit. We the people do support our mayor's vision, not the nonsense this council is trying to push through illegally. Ms. Williams, I know the former pro tem was your bestie, but that doesn't mean you have to participate in this conspiracy with her, Gums and Rob. Mr. Sebastian and Mr. Reeves, y'all know this is not right. Be the example of wisdom and good moral character and put a stop to the madness tonight. It's not worth your political career. Mr. Mayor, Council, that completes the comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adams, and thank everyone for all your comments. Mr. Adams, you'll make sure that we get all of those so council members can respond at their leisure, and please sound the next item.
Yes, sir. And for the record, I emailed them to you before the meeting, so you should have them in your email box.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 16 on the agenda. Agenda items. This is request council approval to accept the 2022 local maintenance and improvement grant in the amount of $1,163,000 and 120.52 cents from the Georgia Department of Transportation, contingent on the City of South Fulton providing the required 30% match in the amount of $148,936.15.
I don't see anyone in the queue.
I like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to approve. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was approved unanimously.
All right, sound the next item.
Next item is item 17, request council approval of an ordinance declaring a state of emergency in the city of South Fulton, providing for city meetings to be held virtually, providing for an effective date and for other purposes, sponsored by Mayor Khalid.
Before I entertain a motion, I do want to make clear, it appears that this resolution, I'm sorry, this emergency ordinance lists the time for this ordinance is 30 days.
Mayor, they're in 30-day increments.
Okay, so I asked for this ordinance to be 25 days.
Mayor, as it relates to this, if the city manager and the council believe that it is safe to come to an in-person meeting, there's nothing about this ordinance that would prevent you from doing so. So somebody can move to specifically say 25 days, but the mayor and council, if there's an approved facility, there's nothing keeping you from meeting earlier if it's safe. So the 25 days, the ordinance didn't have to specify 25 days for you to meet in 25 days if the condition warranted.
I understand that, and I appreciate your opinion on that matter. However, Mr. Clerk, who is this ordinance?
You are, sir.
And in the meeting, did I not say that I was writing this ordinance for 25 days?
That is correct.
I would just like for this ordinance to reflect what the author of this ordinance wrote.
Mayor, upon vote approval, I can make that 25 days.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to
Smith,
make a
do we need a motion
to?
Go ahead,
Mr. Mayor,
Dr.
I'd like
Baker.
to make a motion to amend this ordinance to say 25 days, as well as a motion to approve it.
Second.
Roll call. I'm sorry, any discussion?
Yes, discussion. So this is now January 25th. When are we supposed to go back to physical meetings, or have we decided to go back to physical meetings?
This ordinance would expire on 25 days from now, which would be February 19th, which means that our next regular council meeting on February 22nd would be an in-person meeting unless another emergency ordinance was later written. And we need a meeting to entertain that.
And you say you what now? I didn't hear the last part. You faded out.
We would be headed back to an in-person meeting if this ordinance passes on February 22nd. If the data shows that we are not ready to head back on February 22nd, we can write another emergency ordinance and pass it either at the February 8th meeting or any day after that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Dr. Rao.
Just quickly, my first question is for the city manager. Will you be prepared to bring the plan for us meeting in person back at our February work session on the 8th?
Yes, ma'am, we will.
Okay. The reason I ask because it's not been our custom to vote at a work session. So you said this particular ordinance goes through the 19th, so that would require us to meet in person on the 22nd. And again, I know Ms. Sadler Jones, this may have you off. Do you foresee there being any challenges with going into a space, even though you may not know which one yet?
I don't foresee it being a challenge. We have reserved the Southwest Arts Center for the next several months. So, I mean, we're prepared to go into that particular venue again, as long as, things continue to stay safe, and we will continue to monitor the direction of the CDC and the Fulton County Health Department.
Okay, that was my question. But I will implore you to make sure we come up with a plan that is not confusing to the residents when we go back in person, so they're not jumping from site to site. That's my only request. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gomes.
Thank you for recognizing me, Mayor. My question is, with the current ordinance, if we decide to go back before the 30 days is up, that would not be a problem. I guess I'm asking the city attorney.
It would not. It automatically end in 30 days, and there's nothing preventing you from going, convening in person sooner.
Okay. All right. That's the clarification that I needed. I'm just trying to figure out with 45,000 cases over the weekend, and with the CDC, as we're still continuing to be at a peak, I'm not sure if we'll be ready in enough time, but thank you for that information.
Thank you. I do just want to pause to respond to you, Councilwoman Gums. That is actually a concern that I had as well. I really did not want to even extend this ordinance, for these 25 days. And you may recall, Madam City Manager, that we had taken it off the agenda. I then had a call with Dr. Paxton from the Department of Health for Fulton County, and she reiterated your same concerns. She thought that we should be out of the woods by February, but that we might not be. And so if I will continue to talk to Dr. Paxton, who regularly attends the mayor's meetings, if it is the case that we are not ready, I am going to trust the science, and I will extend the emergency ordinance again. I do have a follow-up question, though, for the attorney. You were saying that if we pass this ordinance, nothing precludes us from meeting in person sooner than the last day of this ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes, it's good for 30 days until you renew it. So if for whatever reason during that period, like for example, you wanted to meet within that, if the next meeting came, for example, and it was safe to meet in person, then the ordinance is going to expire 30 days unless there's action taken to renew it.
Right, but in the and it's 25 days. In the next 25 days, we cannot meet in person because we passed this ordinance. We can't ignore the ordinance and just meet in person earlier if we pass that date.
What the emergency ordinance allows you to do is to be able to meet virtually as it relates to the Open Meetings Act. But for example, even when you change to 25 days, if things are good in 21 and there's a meeting, then you could have an in-person meeting. So it's not preventing you; it's just giving you coverage under the Open Meetings Act to meet virtually. If you understand what I'm saying.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm looking at hands. Dr. Rao, you spoke. Mr.
I did.
Councilman Sebastian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I too wanted some clarification on the impact of whether you put it at 25 days or 30 days. Will we be able to meet in person if we so desire? And I would love to have something in this that speaks to our readiness. I mean, I know the city manager says that they'll be ready, right? And also something that speaks to how we would handle it if, in fact, we have to take that meeting on the 25th and go back virtual. I just need to make sure that we're covered. But personally, I don't mind meeting in person, but under very safe circumstances. So I would be very interested to see the plan that the city manager come up with.
And I will ensure that is on our next meeting agenda on February 8th. I do just, not to be a stickler for the law here, but Attorney Hyman, you're saying that this ordinance gives us the option to meet virtually, but I'm reading the ordinance on page 228, and it says that all meetings shall continue to be held by virtual means, and that this ordinance shall take effect. We very early on in our time as council people, those of us who are legacy council people here, had an entire education about shall versus may. And are you saying that this shall does not prohibit in-person meetings?
Mayor, I'm saying that shall, if the council and the city manager, everybody says that it is safe to meet, then you can meet in person. This is the product of the council and your self legislation, and it is giving you the ability to meet virtually while conditions are not favorable. But if conditions become favorable, then you can meet in person. This is an emergency order that is good up to 30 days, and then it has to be renewed.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes, I just would like to reiterate, what Councilmember Rao said to the city manager, that we don't have residents bouncing from place to place, that we try to find something consistent. And, I just hate this because every time we plan to go back in person, another variant comes out, we have another surge. I'm anxious to do everything in person at this point. But we all must do whatever it takes to make sure that our employees, our residents, and the elected officials are safe. So, Mr. City Manager, just make sure you have a solid plan and, a fluid plan, so that if we are not ready to go back, we will be able to plan accordingly with whatever plan we have in place. Thank you.
All right, seeing no further hands and no one else in the queue, I will call for the vote.
Roll call vote to approve item 17, the emergency ordinance allowing for virtual meetings, as amended, for allowing for 25 days as opposed to 30-day time limit. Councilmember Rob.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
And Councilmember Baker.
That's aye for me. Aye.
Thank you. That was approved unanimously.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item. Just a point of information. I do not believe that we have voted on Mayor Pro Tem Reeves yet.
Good point. Thank you.
All right, next item.
My apologies. Next item is item 18, presentation 2022 redistricting process.
I am going to ask that we hold this item for later in the meeting. Mr. Johnson from the Fulton County Board of Elections is going to be presenting and taking questions on this item, but he is not available at this time.
I'd like to make a motion to hold.
Second.
All right. You want to call the vote?
Yes. Roll call vote to hold this item to later in the meeting. Councilmember Rob.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is held.
Thank you. Please sound the next item.
Next item is item 19, request council approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of South Fulton and the South Fulton Development Authority.
I move that we accept the IGAs with the South Fulton Development Authority and the DDA, both items.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Okay, this is a motion to approve items 19 and items 20 together. Roll call vote. Councilmember Rob.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Aye. Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Abstain. Member of the family.
That item was approved 6-0-1, both items, 19 and 20.
All right. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is item 21, second reading of an ordinance to amend the City of South Fulton's Charter, Article 2, Government Structure, Election and Removal, Section 2.16, D1, Article 3, Organization of Government, General Authority and Ordinance, Section 3.23A, and Article 4, Administrative Affairs, Section 4.12, A1 and 2, for other lawful purposes. This is sponsored by Council Members Rao and Gums and Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
So moved.
I do want to ask a question of Attorney Holland because I had requested that this item be placed on the agenda as a first read because this is the first time this council is hearing it. OCGA 36-30-3, paragraph A states that one council may not, by an ordinance, bind itself or its successors so as to prevent free legislation in the matters of municipal government. I just wanted to confirm from our city attorney that it is your legal opinion that OCGA 36-30-3 has no relevance in this issue.
Mayor, this charter is not binding. I mean, the state statute that you mentioned does not affect the council, our charter's ability to do this ordinance, and it is officially a second read, and to change it otherwise would be violative of 45-11-1 that I sent to you previously.
Thank you so much for that opinion, and I will entertain a motion.
Yeah, we had a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Willis, but I didn't catch the second.
Second.
Okay, by Councilmember Rao.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, please call the vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian. Councilmember Sebastian.
I actually am going to abstain from this one, and my reason being, I prefer in this year of charter review to just have anything that they were adjusting our charter to go through that process. And again, as a new guy, I haven't had enough time to follow this thing right through to where it is right now. So I would welcome any additional information offline, but that's my reason for abstaining now.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Reeves.
Nay.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
I abstain, along with some of the lines that Councilmember Sebastian, outside of the fact that I do believe that we should have some charter revisions, but we are in our 5th year, and I think that that's something that should be authorized after May when we do reach our anniversary. And at the same time, I'm uncertain about the legislative process and how it was so quickly placed on our agenda right at the end of the year after the new mayor was elected. Simply put, it seems quite spooky.
Mr. Mayor, the results of that vote is 4 yeas, 1 nay, and 2 abstentions.
And are 4 votes enough for this to pass as a charter amendment?
I would defer to the city attorney.
Mr. Hyman?
To my mute, it's an ordinance, so it's majority according to our code. the text amendment is as it relates to the additional advertising requirements that the state puts on the respective cities.
All right, and so it is your opinion that we only need 4 votes to change our city?
According to our ordinance.
All right, please sign the next item.
Next item is item 22. Request council approval of a resolution adopting the Community Development Services Department's 2022 calendars for rezonings, modifications, and variances for the mayor and council of the city of South Fulton, Georgia, to comply with the Georgia Open Meetings Act and for other purposes. Sponsored by the Community Development Department.
I'm sorry, we have so many new people, but the head of the Community Development Department, are they available?
Yeah, Miss Kiefer, Rebecca Kiefer is on the call.
Ms. Kiefer, and if you are able, if you could turn your camera on and introduce yourselves to our audience.
Sure, definitely. Let me pull up my camera. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Kiefer, and I'm the interim CDRA director. So this item tonight is for the adoption of the calendar. This is the calendar that we use to, process different applications through planning commission, zoning board, and it outlines all of the deadlines, both pursuant to the zoning procedures law and the local ordinance as well, including the 20-day sign posting and legal ads, as well as the letters that are required and application deadlines for applicants. So I am here for questions if you have any.
All right, I am looking at my queue and seeing no one has any questions. Going once, going twice. Any questions, comments, concerns, queries, illusions, disillusions, hallucinations? Hearing none, I will call for the vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rob.
Yes.
Councilmember Gubbs.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved unanimously.
All right, please sign the next item. And thank you, Ms. Kiefer. Welcome again to the city of South Fulton.
Next item is item 23. Request to repeal Resolution 2017-039, Parity of Pay, and Resolution 2018-059, Legislative Specialist Terms of Employment. This item is placed on the agenda by Mayor Khalid.
All right, I am going to just explain again.
I like them.
Before we make a motion, I do explain and ask some clarifying questions of our city attorney. This was placed, I talked about this in December, that currently under one resolution, the pay of our legislative specialists, or the pay of the council's legislative specialists, is tied to the pay of my executive assistant, a position which no longer exists. But also, resolution 2018-059, sponsored by Councilwoman Jackson, stated that the LSs, the legislative specialists assigned to council, would report to the council people. And so my question is for the city attorney, for that second resolution, how does that comport with the provisions of 1019, which state that our legislative specialists report to our city manager?
Mayor, I'm looking at the section that you're referring to under our charter as last amended, which we refer to as 1019. That's section 310A3. And it reads, the city manager shall have the authority to provide at levels he or she deems necessary and appropriate administrative support staff for the mayor and council members, and any such administrative support staff shall be the subject to the authority and direction of the city manager and not the mayor or any council member. So that's under your current charter. The resolution that you're referring to that was sponsored at that time by Council Member Jackson was 2018-059. And in particular, under subsection B, that's where it has a language about the legislative specialist being supervised by the council members, being at will employees, and can be removed by the council members with or without cause in coordination with the Human Resource Department, and that their term can run that of the council person term unless earlier terminated. So if you wanted, for example, the council voted to have the language that was repealed by this ordinance under section B, that could then be the form of a charter amendment for that section 310A3, if that answers your question.
So to be clear for everyone, because I've had individual discussions with multiple council members and with our city manager, so that we are all on the same page, repealing the parity of pay resolution 2017-039 will disconnect the pay of legislative specialists to the pay of executive assistants in the mayor's office. Does that then put the salaries for those legislative specialists back into the pay and class with the other employees of the city?
I think there was some confusion, and the resolution that you're referring to, for the record, is 2017-039 that indicated that part-time council aides shall be paid on an hourly rate not less than 75% of the hourly rate of the full-time assistant. There was a pay and class study that was done on July, I think, 12th of 2019 that actually has a class and pay scale for legislative specialists independent of this resolution that you're seeking to repeal.
And it's your opinion that the approval of the pay and class study already abrogated this resolution?
Well, I won't say abrogate, but it already established the pay and class for your legislative specialists, such that if it was repealed, HR and everybody knows what to pay, who to pay, what class they're in.
All right, and I will leave it to council members to check with the HR director on those issues. That those were all my questions. But you are saying that in order to have these individuals supervised by the council people that they work with, that will require a charter amendment.
Yes, that would require amending section 310.3.
Thank you. That is the issue that I raised back in December. I believe that we will have a charter amendment forthcoming on that issue. Is there any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
So moved.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to repeal Resolution 2017-039 and Resolution 2018-059. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved unanimously. Next item is item 10, which was removed from the consent agenda by Councilmember Sebastian. This is request council approval, authorizing staff to select and enter into a service agreement with Atlanta Community Food Bank to perform food insecurity management services in an amount not to exceed $100,000 and to be funded by the American Rescue Plan Act funding as the most responsive and responsible proponent in response to RFP 22-002, implementation and management of program to address food insecurity. Councilmember Sebastian.
Yeah, I obviously support this measure, but I just wanted some clarity as to what sort of options do we have specifically to it. I know we do food giveaways. Are there any other programs that we have done that can help to address that will come out of this program?
Mayor, may I speak to this? Because the feeding initiative was actually an initiative that I started and can best and work with the city manager and several departments in the city. So do you mind if I provide a response to this?
Go right ahead.
So Councilmember Sebastian, the city of South Fulton work with the majority of the times the Atlanta Community Food Bank to address the food insecurity at the start of the pandemic. There have been other organizations that have helped the city, such as Hosea Helps, such as the organization I can't think of the organization Mark Baker uses a lot. And then also Goodard, Councilmember Baker, what was the organization? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Feeding Families Georgia.
Yes, Feeding Families Georgia. So those are other organizations that we have worked with as well. What happened is that the city manager recommended to the council that we put $200,000 towards food insecurity. There was a RFP that went out for a proposal, and I guess the process came back to recommend that we give $100,000 to the Atlanta Community Food Bank. I did question Miss Sally Jones about the other organizations who have really helped the city of South Fulton address food insecurity through this process. And what she did say is for the remaining $100,000, she's going to have the procurement manager put out an RFQ, which is a reference for qualification. And that will open it up for any of those other organizations or any organizations to apply for qualification to seek funding, American Rescue funding, to continue to assist us with the food insecurity efforts that this city put forth. And at this time, I will yield. If I miss anything, Ms. Sally Jones, if you allow Ms. Sally Jones to speak, Mayor, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam City Manager.
Well, actually, she did a good job giving a background on it. And yes, I mean, we will work with our purchasing manager to do a request for qualifications and be coming back and recommending some other qualified organizations that can also assist us in food insecurity efforts within our city.
Part of my concern, Mr. Mayor, I assume I still have the floor.
One moment, sir.
Okay.
One moment, sir. I'm going to get right to you. I do want to ask, Madam City Manager, as you are assembling that list, if it is possible, per your discretion, that our communications department could make some sort of one sheet or even a page on our city's website. I know that the Kingdom of God Ministries right across from Welcome All Park feeds folks every week. I know that New Life Presbyterian on Old National has a food pantry that is open, I believe, every week. So we may have a lot of people that are already doing this work in our city, and we should maybe just investigate and compile a master list of and when those feedings are happening.
Yes, sir. I can work with the staff to do that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian.
Yeah, my main concern is really the method of delivery because especially in some of our districts that are large geographically and may have some seniors who may not be able to come out to some of these food giveaway, drive or go in line or whatever, to make sure we take that into consideration and have some sort of program that they can take advantage of out of this money. That's all.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry, one more follow-up question, Madam City Manager. Does passing this create a process that we will publish for organizations that are already doing this work to apply for these funds?
Absolutely. So this one will, if the council approve it, award the amount not to exceed for the Atlanta Community Food Bank, but for the remainder $100,000, that we have. Yes, we will do an RFQ, and that will be open to qualified entities that would like to get on our list to assist us with those efforts.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rao, I see your hand.
I wanted to reiterate the same thing that I heard Councilman Sebastian mention. I have 3 senior residential properties in my area, and I hope that there's a component where they can deliver directly to those facilities. Arbor Terrace, QLS Villa, and Anthem at Riverside. However we define the scope of work, that you would give considerations when you have communities that have dedicated seniors there.
All right, thank you. Any other? I see Councilwoman Gums in the queue.
I'm sorry, I meant to lower my hand. That was my concern as well. The delivery options for seniors. They do find it hard to get to those sites, and if they're homebound, but just finding a delivery option for them as well. So Dr. Rowell addressed my concern.
All right, thank you. Hearing no other questions, seeing no other hands, I will call for the vote.
Mr. Mayor, we need a motion in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this measure.
Second.
All right, please call the vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was approved unanimously.
All right, thank you. Please sound the next item.
Next item is item 14. This item was removed from the consent agenda by Councilmember Sebastian. This is a resolution appointing District 5 Councilmember Corey A. Reeves as Mayor Pro Tempore, setting the date of appointment of said Mayor Pro Tempore. This was sponsored by Councilmembers Rao, Gums, Willis, Williams, and Baker.
I'm going to recognize Councilman Sebastian as he pulled this.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I am going to recognize first Councilman Sebastian, who did pull this from the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I did not get a chance to speak with Councilman Baker before the agenda came out, and it is my hope that when we go through this process on an annual basis, that I want us to get along, but I don't want anybody to be tagging along, right? We subsequently had a conversation. We played phone tag for a little bit, because when he called me just before, I think our work session, it was too close to the work session to have a conversation. So I just really wanted to know his thoughts and his feelings and his plans, and just ask some questions around the role of the Mayor Pro Tem, because unlike some thoughts of some people, I think the role of the mayor and the role of the Mayor Pro Tem are important, right? So we had a chance to have that conversation last Friday. So I wanted to know if I could be added as a sponsor to this resolution so I can support Councilman Reeves. And during that conversation, we had a nice chat. I reminded him of the long time ago where we met, where we had our first meal. So I wanted to be added as a sponsor as well, because I was not able to have that conversation. So when the resolution was compiled, I guess I wasn't seen as supportive, but that is not the case.
All right. Thank you for that. I will just respond in saying that we will have a item on the next couple of agendas that would make this a rotating position so that everyone would get a chance. And I do thank Dr. Baker for allowing us to go in that direction even before we have made that change. And with that, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, you have, I know Mayor Pro Tem's hand is up, and Mr. Sebastian, no?
Okay, I do just want to check, are people having problems using the queue? Because the queue is open. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
So I know that the at the last council meeting, we had a question that we asked the city attorney to opine on whether a council member could serve consecutively in the mayor pro tem role. And he has, subsequent of that meeting, opined that the charter does not allow for any council member to serve consecutively. So a new pro tem will have to be voted on. And I know that you are seeking a charter change to rotate it based on seniority. And so my question now goes back to the city attorney. Now that you have opined that I was correct, that the charter states that no one person can serve consecutively, does it necessarily have to be a charter change? Because it states that no one person can serve consecutively. So what Mayor Khalid is seeking to do is just rotate it based on seniority. So my question is, can we do it via ordinance and not charter change, since the only thing, or resolution and not charter change, since the only thing that he is seeking is for us to
order.
What is your point of order?
What is
The actual question she's asking is not germane until you bring forth whatever you plan on bringing forth, or you don't decide to bring forth regarding this vote.
so the reason, Mayor, thank you. Mayor, I'm addressing you. The only reason I'm bringing this up because it was actually you who brought up that you were bringing forth the charter change.
And I'm going to make a ruling. Dr. Baker is correct. This is not germane. We can have this discussion when that charter change comes.
Okay, that is fine.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is that correct?
No, we do not have.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
So move.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that my amendment is accepted.
I'm going to need everyone to wait until they're called on.
Okay.
Call on everyone. You have that motion and that second, Mr. Clerk.
I have a motion by Councilmember Baker, and I believe the second was from Councilmember Reed.
Thank you.
No, just leave it there.
I'm now going to recognize Councilman Sebastian for discussion.
Yes, sir. I was just asking about being added as a sponsor. Just wanted to make sure that was added to the motion.
Do you have that?
I'd like to make a substitute motion to add Councilman Sebastian to the legislation.
So move.
Awesome. I don't think that it requires a substitute motion, but now that we have more, I will take a roll call vote for the substitute motion.
Yes, and Mr. Mayor, I believe since the same maker and seconder, we can just amend the motion to add Councilmember Sebastian as the sixth sponsor.
You're correct. I'd like to make an amendment to add Councilman Sebastian to this legislation as well. Thanks.
So moved as amended.
You ready for the roll call?
Yeah.
Councilmember Rob.
Yes.
Councilmember Guns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved as amended.
Please sound the next item.
Next item is item added by Mayor Pro Tem Willis. It's a request council approval of a hiring bonus for post-certified police to receive $3,000 after 90 days employed with a commitment signed agreement to stay with the city for 36 months.
So move.
I will. Oh, that was a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rob,
Yes.
Councilmember Guns,
Yes.
Councilmember Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker. Councilmember Baker?
Yes, abstain. And my reason is because we already gone through this, and this will ultimately be just a procedural thing to be vetoed, as this is one of the rights of the mayor when it comes to budget items.
That item is approved 6-0 to 1.
All right, please sound the next item.
The next item is the first read of an ordinance to amend Title IV, Law Enforcement, Chapter 1, in general, of the Code of Ordinances, City of South Fulton, Georgia, to add Section 4-1004, authorization for the Chief of Police to administer oath of office for sworn police officers and for other lawful purposes. Sponsored by Councilmembers Willis, Gumbs, Sebastian, and Williams. First read.
I'll just defer comments on this to the second read. Thank you.
All right, I see no one else in the queue. Please sound the next item.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is the held item, which is item 18, presentation of 2022 redistricting process. Would you want to go to that, or you want to go to council comments?
We're going to go ahead and go to council comments. Mr. Johnson is not available. Actually, I'm just going to relay what was relayed to me. There was actually we're going to just do it now real quickly. Madam City Manager, would you like to just give an overview of what was discussed in the December meeting with the reapportionment office?
Sure. So we had invited for today's meeting Brian Knight with the State Reapportionment Office, but he notified us that he was not available. As you can imagine, that office is very busy. They are in the process of assisting counties with their maps because the county maps are due, from my understanding, in January. City maps are not due until later in the summer. So the staff and I went down and met with Mr. Knight back in December of 2021. And essentially he shared with us, our population data as a result of the 2020 census. And his office is prepared to provide us with a recommended changes to our maps, and we are waiting to get that information. Our lobbyist, Mr. Andrew Long, also assisted us or accompanied us to that meeting as well. And so from the information that Mr. Knight sent over regarding his ability not to attend our meeting tonight, and I will forward his email that was sent yesterday evening to the council. But essentially, he says that with the in anticipation that there is a possibility that we will have one of our council members running for federal office, that what we would need to do is the city may wish to adopt a plan using home rule if your charter permits that action. My understanding is this would slightly extend your timeline, as you would need to come to the legislator and set your own date for implementation. He does advise us to consult with our city attorney on this issue, and they could try to assist in drawing the city a plan around mid-February or so and help us to develop maps at that point. And of course, timing would be affected by the city's requirements and plans regarding public notice and hearings. And he said, I understand that you have requested some maps from the office for the House and Senate district, and he will send those over to us as soon as possible. So essentially, that's the update that we have. We will continue to work with his office to see maybe at one of our next month, if he's able to come back, Mayor, if you desire that, I can continue to try to work with Mr. McKnight, because I think they have a pretty good presentation that they've given to other cities.
Thank you. Councilwoman Willis, I see your hand.
So will this presentation also be inclusive of what the city of South Fulton will have to do to redistrict? Because our districts are based, and maps are based on the 88,000 of the 2010 census, and we are now of 108,000 residents. I do see some cities going through this process throughout Georgia. So my question would be, is there anyone, I know that you mentioned this person is coming from a state reapportionment office. Do you know if there's anyone in ARC that can help us go through this process as well? And
I'm not familiar with anyone, but I mean, if you all know of somebody, let me know. But I really think Mr. Knight, pardon me, I mean, would be, the best person for us to talk to.
Okay, and I would ask Ms. Sally Jones that you probably reach out, because I know I actively see the city of Savannah going through this process of redistricting. So if you could reach out to the city manager in the city of Savannah to find out what process or who they're using to go through their process. And most recently, they had a presentation, a specific work session presentation going over their redistricting process. So if you could reach out to that city manager and find out as well.
Yes, ma'am, I will. And I also think this may be a good topic of conversation when, the council, you all have your retreat too.
Okay, is there anywhere possible that you could, with the retreat, maybe invite someone to talk with us on how we would best move to get the redistricting done in the city of South Fulton? And also, we would need to know when it will go into effect, because the next election cycle for the city of South Fulton will be 2023.
Okay, all right. And I know you asked about ARC, Miss Anna Roach, former COO, Chief Operating Officer for Fulton County, is now the Executive Director for ARC. So we can definitely reach out to her as well.
Yes, I'm very familiar with her, and she's a friend and a friend of the city and a resident of the city.
All right, Dr. Rao.
I think they kind of touched on it. So if we are covering it at the retreat, I think that's appropriate. Having watched, I hope in terms of looking at the maps that we have a couple options. So when it is presented, that y'all have looked at the requirements of the law as it relates to redistricting and can bring us multiple options whenever we had this work session, whether it's at a retreat or the February work session.
Okay. All right. I'm going to just say a few things about this topic and how it came to the agenda. I was not at the reapportionment discussion, but after becoming aware of the possibility that a member of council would run for office, I did talk with our Board of Elections, both the chair, Kathy Woolard, and Aaron Johnson, a representative on the board. I was concerned. It was my understanding that the qualifying for that federal election would be, and I will make sure that Mr. Johnson puts all of this in an email. He, as everyone is with redistricting, people are going around discussing elections all over the state. I'm just going to relay this for the people who are watching this discussion now, but that the qualifying for that election would end on March 11th, which would trigger a special election in May. The board of the state legislature has set dates for possible election dates for the entire year of 2022, and the Board of Elections, upon notice of a vacancy, which is triggered automatically by this qualification, would pick the next election date, which would be May 24th. I was concerned because of the demographic changes discussed by Mayor Pro Tem Willis, that would require us to redraw the maps. But what I was told by Mr. Johnson this week was that because this election is an election to fill an existing seat, that it would be governed by the existing map. And so there is no emergency to redraw the maps ahead of that election, because they will be governed according to the Board of Elections by the map for which that seat currently sits, and that we could return to our schedule of redistricting in the summer. But again, I wanted to lay that out. I wanted him to lay it out. People had questions about that, but there is no, according to the Board of Elections, there is no need to race and redraw the maps. We do have more time, and I will make sure that you all have that information, both from Mr. Knight. I also love Brian McKnight, Madam City Manager, and Aaron Johnson. So with that being said, please sound the next item, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, the next item is council comments.
We will start with District 1 last time. We will go in reverse order and start with Dr. Baker in District 7.
Wow. Okay. Was not prepared for the reverse, but thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief as I don't have the exact date, but we will resume our Old National Common Unity series on next month, Black History Month, with Brother Reza Islam and Dr. Umar Johnson, and the 50,000 pounds of food, partnering with several people around the Atlanta metro area in front of the LA Fitness on Old National. And everyone in the city is invited. And if there is anybody who wants to participate or volunteer, please reach out, mark.baker, City of South Fulton, GA.gov. And I guess the announcement that I was planning to make when I did qualify, I guess because there's conversation about it, I will formally say publicly that I am currently running for District 13 in our area. So I will be soon abandoning my council seat, and I'll speak more on it the next time I'm able to. Thank you.
Thank you. District 6, Central Old National, Councilwoman Williams.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Khalid. I just have one announcement that the District 6 Town Hall meeting will occur on February 12th at the Burdett Park Gym, multi-purpose room from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you are in District 6, please watch your mailboxes for a postcard mailer that will be coming. Of course, anybody in the city who would like to attend is welcome to come. I will have Brian Morris of Code Enforcement coming to provide the district with an update on the progress being made on the blighted homes, as well as Assistant Manager Don Toms to provide an overview of the project on the solid waste comprehensive plan and to address questions that citizens have. I know that there's been several public comments to that effect, but to address questions citizens may have about what we are attempting to do to address their concerns about the litter and dumping. Thank you for this time.
Thank you. District 5, Buffington Road and North Old National. Mayor Pro Tem Corey Reeves.
And flat shows.
And flat shows.
Yes. Thank you, and thank you to my colleagues for this honor, as I will fill the role gracefully and respectfully and get educated and in depth and embrace the knowledge that will be learned. And also too, that for February, we are doing our annual book collection of African-American characters and African-American authors. And through March, for National Reading Month, we'll also be collecting all books. And I'm calling all men to join me as I do read to students from Feldwood Elementary and Heritage Middle throughout, starting in February, throughout the end of the year. And if anyone would like to join me, please reach out, send me an email of your interest, and we'll put you on the list and give you the schedule, as reading to the kids is one of the most enjoyable things that I do and gives me the greatest joy. And they absolutely love it. And so if anybody wants to join me, please reach out to me in my office, Corey.Reeves@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. District 4, Cedar Grove, Councilman Sebastian.
Cedar Grove, part of Cliftondale, Owner Road, and many other areas of this great District 4, too numerous to mention. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the members of our staff who supported our Martin Luther King Day cleanup event. It was something that I've done before as a citizen. And while I just took office, a couple weeks before, have no staff, still have no staff, I still wanted to continue that specific item. So thank you, guys. I know a lot of people contacted me afterwards and said, I didn't know, but put it on your calendar as an annual event. All right. Secondly is I really want to speak to everyone here that when I hear things happening in other districts and I think about District 4, and in my meeting with the city manager this past Friday, and in my conversation with the mayor earlier today, I was like, we have no buildings in District 4. So it's a challenge for us to have in-person meetings. So I'm saying to the residents of District 4, look out for the virtual meetings that are coming up in February, some to discuss some potential development in our area and potential impacts, and a couple of other items that I promise that I will do, including pulling together some of these community groups to get your involvement and in your feedback. So for me, those weren't just things that I talked about on the campaign trail. It is how I intend to make this office open and available to the citizens. There have been one or two folks that have said, there's something wrong on the website with my name or my email. I haven't seen it, but just in case, my name is spelled JACEEY.SEBASTIAN at cityofsouthfultonga.gov. And it has been my honor so far to serve the residents here of District 4 of our great city. And I hope to continue to do that for the next 4 years. I promise to be responsive. If I don't get back to you in the same day, I promise you that at least you'll get an email back from me within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you.
Thank you. District 3, the place to be. Councilwoman Helen Zenobia Willis.
I want to thank Dr. Talbert from the Red Oak Association. Veterinarian in the Red Oak, our Red Oak veterinarian, and I want to thank Wayfield Grocery. And I want to thank Senator Sonia Halpern and our school board representative, Kimberly Dove, for partnering and raising over $2,000. We were able to target seniors and families with children on our MLK gift back and bless many right at the cusp of a snowstorm that was approaching Atlanta to give. We gave many families $50 grocery cards to gift cards, and we were also able to give them PPE to help protect themselves through this pandemic. It was a blessing to bless others, and I look forward to partnering with many others to bring this blessing to many residents in the city of South Fulton again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. District 2, the crown jewel of our city, or as we like to call it, the wine and cheese district.
Thank you for that, Mayor. I just want to say thank you to all the residents who have offered themselves for service for our district with their appointments. I am looking forward to some great things continuing to happen. And then also to those that have joined the Economic Development Committee and the Public Safety Committee. I also would like to ask all parents and volunteers to join us at Stonewall Tell this Saturday from 9 to 12 as we help them construct their first tiny library. I think this is a great way to get involved, and I would love to have you all come out. So we are still looking for volunteers if you can join us on Saturday. This is the event that was postponed due to the snowstorm. So we want to make sure we get their tiny library up. Also, too, on February the 2nd, that is World Read Aloud Day. There are some activities that will be happening across the city. So I encourage you, if you have some youth and you believe that reading is the gateway to their future, I would encourage you to sign up and volunteer to read at these schools. And lastly, I know that there has been a lot of talk about the litter, and we've seen an increased litter all over our streets. We are going through an RFP process very soon where we'll have, a dedicated company to help pick up or address the litter. We will have crews out in District 2 out cleaning our streets and trying to get them all back to normal on starting tomorrow. So I just want to let residents know that I've heard your concerns and that we will be having somebody to address. So when you see the black bags, don't be alarmed. It is them actually picking up litter. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. District 1, Cascade and Fulton Industrial, Dr. Rao.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all the volunteers that came out for the 2 Martin Luther King Day activities. We had amazing turnouts from Jack and Jill and 2 different Boy Scout troops. on King Day despite the cold weather. So thank you for your commitment. We wound up having over 60 volunteers that came out on that Monday to clean up the commercial corridor. As you know, we continue to try to fight litter across our city. You know, a few days later, we face some of the same challenges, but we'll continue to be vigilant. And I encourage those who are not aware, we clean up once a month along the Cascade corridor. So again, I encourage you to come out and participate if you can on the 19th, which is the next cleanup day. In addition, want to give a special thanks to the Public Works Department for the installation of the no truck signs on Cascade Road. I've heard your concerns, residents, as it relates to the increased activity in the area. And so we're going to continue to try to work on that. Other than that, thank you.
All right. I'm going to make a few comments now. First, I want to give a special shout out to this young lady, Miss McKenzie. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Gums, for inviting me out. You can see us pictured here together. This young lady is the SGA president at Westlake High School in our city and received over $1 million in scholarships and acceptances to 39 colleges, but she chose an HBCU to attend. So again, congratulations, Miss McKenzie and her mom, who has been a fixture at Westlake High School. Next, for Black History Month, I do want to let our residents know that we will have a live genealogy workshop hosted by Andre Kearns. You can sign up for that event at cityofsouthfultonga.gov. If you text the word Fulton to 33777, in addition to getting my newsletter, you will get a alert when that workshop goes live. But please sign up and register for that event. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who did come out on MLK for our day of service here in Camelot. We did knock all 300 doors here across 14 buildings. And a special shout out to Mr. Mel Keaton from District 4, who drove over from District 4 in Cedar Grove and barbecued for 3 hours in 35-degree weather for all of the residents here at Camelot. Thank you all so much for all that you are doing. We are at the end of our agenda. We're going to, I'm going to entertain a motion for executive session. I do want to say that I am working very hard to incorporate everyone's agenda items. I did not understand until I sat in this seat what it is like to have so many people with so many needs and that want items on the agenda immediately. But it is my intention to have these topic-focused meetings. So we will be talking about HR in February, and we will be talking about planning and zoning in March. For members of council or members of the community that have concerns around those issues, please make sure to reach out to your council people. And I would ask that we focus our legislation on those topics for the next 2 months. It is also one of the reasons that I do this as well is I don't want to be in council meetings till 2 a.m. ever again. And I am proud that we will very likely get out again by 9 o'clock. It is my goal to get out of all of the meetings by 9 o'clock, not just for my own sake and not just for the sanity of our staff who do have to return to work the next morning, but also because as we transition at some point, whether it is February 22nd or some later date, we are going to transition back to in-person meetings. And we do not have a lot of spaces in the city that house large audiences and that can house them as consistently as we have meetings. So it is also a goal of mine to get out of these meetings early so that we respect the spaces that we are inhabiting, that we are sharing with other people, whether that is the Bureau of Cultural Affairs at the Southwest Art Center, or a high school, or a Fulton County government building. I want to make sure that we are respecting all of the workers and employees in those places, and that we have meetings that don't run too long so that they also can get back to their families and get back to the business that they conduct in those buildings. And with that, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I move we go to executive session.
All right, I think I heard a motion.
Real estate personnel litigation.
So move.
Mr. Clerk, would you please?
Second, if we haven't had one yet.
Yes, we have a motion by Councilmember Baker, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Reeves, to go into executive session for real estate, litigation, and personnel. Ready for the vote?
Yes, I do want to, I'm sorry, briefly give a quick shout out to our communications team who put together this brilliant webinar that we are having. So definitely please sign up. Shout out to that brilliant department. And yes.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao?
Yes.
Councilmember Gums?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reeves?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Aye.
We are recessed at 6:46 p.m.